It's a good thing I'm getting rid of these. Okay, I'm getting rid of some books. Either because I read them and didn't really like them, or I've had them for so long and I really don't think I'm going to read them. So I thought I'd show you what they were. So the first one here is Here There Be Dragons by James A. Owen, and I got this at a library book sale where you could fill up a grocery bag of books for $5. I just grabbed a whole bunch of books because it wouldn't cost me any extra to get them, and I really don't think I'm going to read this at all, so let's get rid of that one. The next one is Shadowfell by Juliette Marillier. My mom got this for me at a book sale. I think she only spent $1 on it, and it just seems like super like kingdom-y and stuff, and I don't want to read that. I thought I was going to give it a try when she got it for me, but I'm not going to, so. The next two that I've decided to get rid of, which kind of make me a little sad, but at the same time not, which is why I'm getting rid of them, which is The Unbecoming of Myra Dyer and The Evolution of Myra Dyer. These are really gorgeous covers. They're really beautiful and they match really nicely, but when I look at them on my shelf, it kind of makes me angry. Because of the way the second book went, I really didn't like the direction the story was going in and the reason for everything that was happening. I thought it was really angering and stupid and a big cop-out, and I was just like, ugh. And I don't want to read the third one because it's going to make me angry. And I don't want to have just 2 books in a trilogy and not have the third one, and so I'm just gonna say goodbye. A Creature of Moonlight by Rebecca Hahn, which is funny because I just hauled this recently. My friend and I started reading it. She liked it. She didn't love it, and she didn't feel like she always needed to go back to reading it when she wasn't reading it, but I hated it. I read about 25 pages or 30 pages, and I just wanted to throw it across the room. The writing was so flowery that I didn't know what they were talking about most of the time, and it was just so boring. And it went around everything in such a slow manner, and I was just like, ugh. Invisible Monsters by Chuck Palahniuk. I have had this book for far too long. And I finally picked it up, and it made me angry. It was also super weird, and I didn't like it, so you know what? We'll just get rid of it. The Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell by Chris Colfer. I got this a few years ago. I think the second book had just come out, so this just came out in paperback. And it was when my nephew was either just going to be born or was just born or something, and it was just really making me want to read kids' things. And I've looked through it and read the beginning of it since then, and it's just, it's young in a way that I don't want to read it. Like, I have no problem reading some middle grade books because some middle grade books are written in a certain style that it doesn't feel like I'm reading a little kid book, if that makes sense. And this one is kind of a little kid book. Maybe I'll give it to my nephew, and maybe he'll want to read it when he's a little bit older, but for me it's not. I can't. And that's the same with the next book, which is Nightmares by Jason Segel and Kirsten Miller. And I got this just for the fact that Jason Segel was one of the authors. And this is the same as this. I read almost half of this and I wasn't feeling it. It's written for 9-year-olds in a very 9-year-old way. Like, it's well written and it's good and it was a good story, and I'm sure this is a good story too, but it's young in a way that I am not interested in, so. We'll be nice to those ones. Maybe my nephew will want them. And my niece, but she's only 2, so. I mean, my nephew's only 4, but whatever. How to Ruin Your Boyfriend's Reputation by Simone Alcalez. Yes. This book was fine. It made fun of Canadians, though, and it made me mad. And the Canadians were only in it to be made fun of. That was their only point of being in the story. Again, it made me mad. It's not the only reason I want to get rid of it. It also, like, it wasn't the greatest book I've ever read. It was meh, but, you know, we're more important than just being there to be made fun of for things that are not even true. The Woods by Harlan Coben. Everyone has heard me talk about this so much. I loved Harlan Coben until I tried reading this book, and I didn't like it. And I still had it for some reason. I don't know why I don't just get rid of it, so we're getting rid of it. There we go. Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea by April Genevieve Tuchok. I enjoyed this book. It was kind of like a guilty pleasure to me. It was pretty cheesy, but it was fun. But then there were certain parts of it that made it less fun, and I thought it made the story seem less exciting and less intense, which I didn't really like about it. And when I finished reading this, I thought I was probably eventually going to pick up the second one, but I don't think I'm going to anymore. Even though it's a beautiful cover, I don't want to have the first book in a duology and not have the second, so we'll say goodbye to this one. And The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Fry by Rachel Joyce. I got this at a used bookstore. It's in incredibly good condition, and I thought it looked cute. And there's a little post-it inside it that says, "My book club gave this 6 thumbs up. There were 6 of us. We each got a vote." And I was like, getting it! But I don't think I'm going to read it. I feel like it's just probably a slow-moving story about an old man who goes on an adventure, which sounds nice, but I don't want to read that. Maybe there's somebody else who wants to read it, and they can't, because I have it. So if I give it away, then they'll be able to read it. So those are all the books that I've decided to get rid of, and I don't know, it gave me a little bit of extra room on my bookshelf, which I didn't need. I have room on my bookshelf anyway, but it stresses me out a little bit less by the fact that I've just taken some of it off my shoulders. And that is all. Have a good day.